Have you ever been in a situation where you think a friend or family member is being scammed, but don't know what to say? I have, and I know just how difficult it is to have that conversation. Emily Mitchell from the Victim Service Center of Central Florida is here with tips on how to broach this subject and help people recognize they are being victimized. Emily, what a timely subject for anyone, with a loved one. Gosh, the scams out there are amazing.
Yes.
And, it can easily happen to anyone.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we've talked about in other segments about, what to look for in a scam or what, isn't kind of quite right. But this conversation, okay, we have the loved one, it happened. What do we do now? How do we talk to them?
Yeah, I think that this conversation could be really difficult to have for a lot of reasons. And before we even get into the conversation, I think it's important to acknowledge kind of the feelings that are going to be maybe coming up that are just normal to feel. So if you see a loved one of yours falling victim to a scam, you may feel really frustrated.
Mm-hmm.
You may feel very angry that someone would do this to someone that you love.
Right.
And kind of acknowledging that and before you move forward in the conversation so that we don't take it out on the victim. That's really important.
You're right. That's absolutely so important because I know they're going to feel bad enough.
Right.
And it doesn't help for you to add to that.
Yeah, exactly. And it could be a really scary thing too. And we need to empathize with them too, that they may be grieving. Maybe they had maybe the person used love against them in the sense where they made this fake relationship and then they have that loss of trust. Maybe they're frustrated because they use technology and it's just really frustrating right now.
Sure.
That they don't understand it. Or maybe they're feeling, shame as well. Like it's their fault. Like maybe they feel stupid that they fell victim to it. So understanding where they're coming from as well before we have this conversation is super important.
And as you mentioned, we want to have that conversation. Now,
Right.
Here we are role playing this. I'm your mom, and I got this great phone call, and they're going to give me high-speed internet, and they're going to send me a laptop and all kinds of technology that I don't understand. And all I had to do was give them my bank account number and my social security number.
Right.
Now, what do you say?
So first off, I always say, thank you for telling me this, Mom. There are a lot of things going around right now, and anyone can be kind of falling victim of this, and I'm so sorry that this happened to you. This is not your fault that this happened to you. This can happen to anyone. This happens to not only, older people, but also younger people. It happens to companies too that call victims. There's people whose job it is to be protecting against this and they can still fall victim to it. So it's not your fault and I'm here for you. How can we move forward? What do you want me to do to help support you? And then I would kind of share resources. And this conversation might have to happen multiple times. And just kind of using those I statements too, try to avoid why. That can have a, why did you do this, or how could you let this happen?
Yeah, exactly. What shouldn't we say to the person?
Right, exactly. That can show blame in the sense, if you say like, why did you let this happen? How could you be so, stupid? Those kinds of things.
Yeah.
So avoiding those is really important as well, because again, it's never the victim's fault.
And you mentioned that you may need to have an ongoing conversation with them that, it could even be a different scam.
Yeah, exactly. So to protect them in the future too, and just let them know that, for example, maybe you will see a scam on your phone or something and share that with them. Like,
that's a good
I got
idea.
A text.
This is why this doesn't look right to me.
Right, yeah.
Don't open that email.
Right.
Don't open that link.
Yeah, kind of like, this is happening to me too. And then just kind of sharing about that. I think what's really important is that we take away the shame that's around this topic, because the more we talk about it, the more we can protect each other and ourselves from things like scams.
And I think that word empathy and support, That really is the key to it, because it doesn't help the situation to blame your loved one for making a mistake.
Yeah, exactly. And again, this can happen to anyone, and it's never ever the victim's fault. Absolutely.
And absolutely. And of course, we'll have all kinds of information that folks can reach different agencies. They can also kind of add a little extra help when you're in that situation.
Absolutely.
Oh gosh. Now, Emily, thank you so much for empowering us and teaching how we can effectively use communication tools to stop scammers and reduce our risk of being a victim. This was great.